Welcome to the Tone Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gower, and with me today we got...
Kyle McIntyre.
We were still riding that wave from episode 100.
I know I'm still high.
Oh, yeah.
High and mighty,
We're
at
fucking
least.
fired up. Not on my podcast. I'm punching those. Oh, man. So, how's it going? What's shaking? What's good? What is grooving?
Got hit with the pretty heavy news.
Hefty bill.
Yeah, so I took my Vic in.
Took the old Vic.
Yeah, the old Vic. I've had it for like not even 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I noticed some while I was driving it, and like when I would turn
Drive
right,
along.
with my hands like I'm a bus driver.
Yeah.
So I noticed that when I would turn or hit the brakes, I would hear some like little taps or clunking on like the left side, like driver's side wheel. And so I'm like, okay, well, there's definitely something going on there.
It's a gremlin or something.
Yeah, it's just there's something worn out, and I know it. My El Camino has some worn out parts too, so it sounds kind of similar. I'm like, okay, well, let me just take it in and see. It might be a couple $100 to fix this, or whatever.
Yeah, it's chump change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
And I'm a champ.
Didn't even think it was going to be that much, actually. I just
Yeah.
thought, replace a couple parts. I was prepared to spend a little bit just to keep the thing on the road. And turns out that it's like a bigger problem.
Yeah.
It always is, it's always a bigger problem.
You're
So,
like, wrong. It's like like was it an iceberg? You're like, yeah, a little tip of it, and you're like, God damn it.
so I always knew that there's something wrong with the ABS.
Yeah.
So ABS system, there was like always a light on.
Yeah.
So there's a module that controls.
Yeah, you just put like a little bit of gaff tape over that and don't worry.
Yeah, just take the glass off the front of the plastic off the gauges and just put it under there so it looks nice and professional.
Yeah.
No, so I just always ignored it because I'm like, I got it with it on, and actually I think I bought it, and then like a week later it came on.
You're like, fuck.
I was like, oh, it probably was always on. They probably just turned the code off.
You're just telling yourself that.
Yeah. So ABS module, which I had looked up when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, that's a pricey little piece of. It's smaller than it's like the size of like a beer can.
Yeah.
But it's like $600 just for that little thing.
It's
So it actually controls.
tall order.
Yeah, it's like no, it's not a tall boy, Brian.
Oh, it's a short boy.
The 12, it's the 12 ounce, or not the 24. So it controls like the hydraulic pressure in the lines and alleviates. I don't know if you know this or not.
I do not.
Anyways, ABS is just it's a safety system.
Yeah.
So I've had to brake hard in that car. I've never had a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Never wrapped it around a pole, never killed anyone, not yet. So that's kind of why I'm like,
I'm in a ditch, bitch.
that was good. So
you're yelling at your AAA. I'm in a ditch, bitch. Sir,
that was pretty sick.
They click.
Good one.
Finger gun.
So it turns out that having a problem has sent problems to all four wheels. And so, not the wheels themselves, but the actual...
Shit's fact.
Yeah, basically the braking system. So I'm having to replace all the calipers.
Yeah.
And then, they have fixed the actual like moving part, like the little clunking.
Yeah.
And then while they're like, oh yeah, well, ABS light. I'm like, I even asked you to look at the ABS light because they're just looking for other things. I'm like, you know what? Okay, do this. Check on that parking brake because when I push down on the parking brake, it goes to the fucking floor.
Yeah.
It does not stop. So I'm like, there's something else wrong with that.
I pushed the pedal to the metal.
Yeah. It's just a brake.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's a parking brake. I'm a lead foot baby.
I'm fucking heeled down.
That's so stupid.
So it goes all the way to the floor.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, there probably either needs adjustment or something's broken. So they looked at it and they, oh, well, in order to fix that, they have to they have to pull the whole axles out.
Oh shit!
I'm like, God damn it! I don't fucking Ford and the way that they design. I mean, it's a great car. No, so they have
It
to
was
pull.
still a great buy.
They have to pull the axles, so that means that all the fluid on the inside has to come out, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have it off. Do you want to do axle seals?" I'm like, "Might as well do the axle seal." So it's like my car. Have you seen those like
not an art kind of seal?
Yeah. Shut up. You know those like those
it's like Axl
books?
Rose, like kind of like hair and bandana on a seal.
Fuck, let me tell. Okay. I was gonna drop a bit. Now I can't even drop it.
All right.
So my car right now is like one of those exploded diagrams. Like those books as kids, you're like, oh shit, that's what a train looks like.
Yeah.
All the way down to the fucking bolts. Yeah. So
that's what it looks like right now. Oh shit!
So
your car,
that's what the brake system looks like.
The poor Vic.
It's like, why'd you take the mirrors off? And well, you know, we gotta find those problems. Well, it reminds me, like in my head, those books as a kid, you open up and it shows you like a submarine, or it shows you like a bit, but it shows you like a cross section of everything.
That's what the cross section of your car looks like.
Yeah, I walk to the shop, and they don't have any other cars in the shop.
Yeah.
They have my car, but just door panels, seats, just everything spread out evenly. Oh, you're just in time.
It looks like somebody building a model version of your car.
They're snapping new parts out of like those like plastic retainer things.
They're making that whole thing, and somebody has like a little like magnifying glass and paint, and they're painting the decals on.
You're gonna have a brand new ride when we're done with it. Anyway, so that was just like that in my head, like the amount of money I'm spending.
Exhibit
it's
comes.
Like,
he's like,
it better be that way.
Exhibit comes. Yo, we heard you like Crown Vic, so we put a Crown Vic together for your Crown Vic.
We built a smaller Crown Vic inside your Crown Vic. We had everything apart. We had all the room we wanted. Anyway, so
we heard you like to spend money, so we doubled your bill.
Yeah. No, I wanted just the fucking brakes. I wanted to stop because this thing goes.
Yeah.
No, so
you can't put brakes on the kid. You can't put fucking brakes on this kid.
Yeah, so quite a bit of money I'm going to spend on it, but so I think safety. It's like one of those things where
safety first.
There's two things you need to do in a car, and that's stop and go. So, I mean, stop is secondary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's a little
it's going to be up there,
heavy-handed this weekend with the news. You're like, God.
Yeah, so I'm probably not buying a whole lot of stuff.
So you won't hear a lot of what's news on the buying front, which is good because you have bought a lot of things. So I think,
I've done my fair share. Fucking bite me
for the economy.
Yeah, I'm boosting fucking reverb right now.
I boost the economy, so I think I'm doing a pretty good job. It's all your turns next.
But that being said, I made a purchase before all this.
Yeah,
I bought Modern Warfare, the video game, because that's responsible.
You're like,
should be busting my ass working more, but I got this.
I am working it. I'm getting worked over on this game.
Been playing with Three Sons, actually.
So Ian, Three Sons?
Yeah, Ian, Three Sons.
Yeah.
So, having fun. It's kind of frustrating, the game. It's like, I'm just getting killed left and right.
So you guys have been talking on Instagram, and I've seen some of the conversation. I'm like, so it's a cross-platform game. So
that's
it's
cool.
One of the first ones?
Yeah,
or?
so he's on Xbox, and I'm on my PC.
Yeah.
And, like, you can still talk to them, so it's a little weird getting it set up because you have all these separate systems that classify their users differently.
Yeah.
So you have to like find the user and then find their ID number and apply it in a certain way so it sends an invite.
So you guys can play together.
Yeah. So
what about Sean from Gun Street? Got to get him on the crew.
Yeah, we're talking. We're talking.
We're working on it.
Trying to get some of the other boys.
You think I fucking thought of this? You fucking idiot. Yeah. I'm 10 steps ahead of you, bitch.
Yeah, so it's
if
fun.
I spent money on this game, I'm going to get the most out of it.
Yeah. I'm getting everyone involved.
The whole crew, baby. Bringing the old band back together.
It's weird, though. It doesn't work the same way that other games that I have, like multiplayer games on PC work.
Yeah.
Where I buy it on Steam, and it goes through Steam's like servers.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how it actually works. I think it's Steam servers. This is on a completely different system. It's on Blizzard, which does like, was it World of Warcraft and those types of things? Yeah. So it's I'm guessing I mean, I don't know.
You got to up the tendies and Mountain Dewies.
I know,
to start
to
playing
play with
these
that
games,
crew.
to play,
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. But I'm
or the
Blizzard.
boys.
Yeah, Blizzard and BattleNet. I'm like, why do I have to download that? And then I'm like, oh, I'm in a different realm.
Yeah,
Different class of
player there.
Player, yeah. But anyways,
players.
it's different. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
And it tells you if they're Xbox, if they're PS4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting.
Nice. So, yeah. So you've been doing that. That's cool.
And I I got a little story. It is a what's new. It's kind of
Okay. What's new?
Watching Road Warrior recently. So I watched like all 3 of the Mad Max, like
Gotcha.
the old
Okay,
school
good.
ones.
Yeah.
I got to watch Fury Road now because apparently I screwed up and you have to watch that one because it's a direct
Is it?
sequel.
It's canonical.
Yeah, it's chronological. Is that what you mean?
It's canonical. It's canon to the story.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna
You gotta fucking watch it. It's
write that down. Apparently, it's a word I do not know.
I don't even know if that's real. I just have heard it before.
So we're watching it, and it's not a scary movie or anything.
Uh-huh.
But so we had just me and my wife were watching. We had just finished.
Man.
We just finished eating like Mexican food, and she's still sitting there with like her plate in her hand with like the salsa.
Yeah.
And this like jumpy part, this like it's like a monkey that for some reason they thought it was a great idea that when the monkey comes into the screen shot, into the shot, it makes this like makes this noise.
Yeah.
Like because that's what you do. Like when a car in a movie goes by, they always honk their horn because you're like, oh, there's a car there. So that's basically they probably we had this great sound
clip.
Of
we
a
paid
monkey.
for this.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so it makes this like. It comes into view and it makes this like this jumpy noise and I hear oh shit and I like because she jumped and I knew she always jumps and I look over and I saw there was like salsa on the wall and on the back of the sofa and then something else happened on the screen. I look back and then she says oh shit again. I look back and she actually has salsa like on her head dripping down her eye. And it was like we get Mexican food from this place a lot, and this is the first time they've included like a jumbo size salsa container,
like a soup container size thing of salsa.
It's like if you took I'm back to
it's like getting a soup bowl.
I'm back to back to a beer can because that's what we're drinking, but it's like probably half the size of so it's probably 5 ounces of salsa.
And she probably used like half an ounce.
A little bit. So she launched all this stuff
just like
on her face.
On the wall.
Because I heard it, I'm like, oh, all right, well, I'm going to look at this last like little clip and I'm going to grab something and start cleaning up. But then I look back and she just has it all over her face, all over her shirt. It was all over the sofa. It's just, it was 5 ounces of just, and it's not, and it was like large chunks of like jalapeno and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's in her eye. So shit's
fucked and
running her cold water over her eyes. I'm cleaning up off her head.
That's why she's wearing an eye patch today.
Yeah.
I get it. I thought she was getting ready for Halloween.
No, she's not wearing an eye patch. But it was funny. It was just like, I've been thinking about all week just because it was on like it was on a paper plate.
Looks like like a Double Dare or something. She got just gacked.
She got gacked. And it wasn't, and it was in such a spot on the plate that it like fulcrumed. It like it launched, and
it has some fucking
like highlight. Have you seen highlights?
Yeah.
Like, it whipped it up so high and just splashed everywhere.
Shit, that's pretty good.
It was pretty funny, and I still keep thinking about that because I think we have another container still in the fridge. So I open the fridge and I see like the other container of salsa. Like, oh, stay there. Yeah, that's my what's new.
Shit, that's
pretty
good.
funny.
Let's see. Last weekend I met up with RJ from
Nice.
It Just Surprised Me, Till He Talks, whatever, on his YouTube channel and stuff like that. He hasn't done a lot of videos recently. He's moved, he's had a kid, he's setting up, getting new stuff ready, or whatever. So, but I've been talking to him, and he's been shooting more videos, and we had an idea of like, I've been since I got my new phone, I was asking him questions on because he shoots predominantly on an iPhone and getting the best video that you can out of that deal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what do you do? Like, what's like lighting? What are some sound? Some gear. What are some tips actually, and like how to get the best out of it? Because really, I don't know. I'm just like shooting random things. I don't really know lighting and stuff like that. So he kind of gave me like little like videos and channels to watch.
Yeah.
Some apps to download.
Some life hacks or
Kind
some
of.
user tips.
Yeah, that, and then like we started talking more, and then he said, well, let's do a video, almost like a 101 guide of how to start recording, videos for Instagram and YouTube with just your iPhone, kind of your basics, what
Some
to
like
look
do's
for,
and don'ts. Just like
because you can really get bogged down in watching some YouTube videos. It's almost like gear. It's like, okay, if you're gonna start, just jump into watching Pete Thorne videos. I'm like, wow, one, the dude fucking rips. Two, the guy's got a fucking like pro studio. He's sponsored by Sir. Companies give him shit. I'm like,
the only thing that you rip, Brian, is ass.
Yeah, and then my jeans too. So I was like, okay, cool, because you can easily if you're like kind of just getting started with guitars, like where do you start, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a cool video to shoot with him. So it's like, okay, he told me about like maybe a couple things to get, some things for lighting, some things for just to help with stabilization and with your camera, and like how to, like stands to get. So we'll talk about it more on his video. So keep an eye on his channel for that.
Oh, but I wanted to hear it all right now.
So I was pretty excited about it. It was a lot of fun to shoot. And then we also shot another video, since we were already there, about going through the HX Stomp, and so creating a patch to use for playing without a pilot.
Yeah.
We did a video where we just from the start there was a blank patch, and we created one with like an orange-ish amp, which I think it's called the Mandarin.
Jesus.
Mandarin 50 instead of a rocker for 50, and then just kind of stuff like that. So I kind of created a patch for that, and I'm excited. It sounded great, and he even has gone back and he saved it, and he's been playing it, and he's like, man, this is actually pretty good.
What is what's the citrus?
Citrus is the in the fractal, so they can't just say orange.
Well, then was it TYM?
Yeah.
Don't they do lemon?
They do lemon. I think they have a lime one. So it's cool. So I was, HX Stomp is really great. It was super easy. I think we created a patch that could totally work for playing without a pilot, recording and stuff like that. And like the whole video was under like 20 minutes and stuff like that. So so it was pretty cool.
Where can you find that? Is that Teletalks?
It'll be Teletalks on not Insta. Well, I guess he'll maybe do a clip or something, but on YouTube. So and then
we'll
he'll
link it whenever it comes up.
Yeah, and then he'll do a patch downloadable that I did. So if you have an HX Stomp, you can, and probably like Helix too, you can just download my patch and then put it in there.
For all those who want to sound like Brian Gower playing without a pilot.
It is a cool one. I really do enjoy it. And anyways, I have a little addendum here. The DRV from 1981 Inventions.
Oh, no.
Or whatever. It doesn't suck dick. It sounds pretty.
Are they making you write this?
It sounds pretty good. Yeah, somebody's got a gun.
It doesn't suck dick.
As I'm just shoving my pockets with Jacksons. It sounds good.
Yeah,
it's not like, it's a distortion, and it's like less fizzy than a Rat. I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, it's a good sounding distortion, and I really think the hype around the pedal is what is such a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
I've never met the guy who does it, so
I
can't say like, you're such a cool guy. He really deserves all the hype. I'm like, I never met them. I don't give a shit. If I saw him, I'd be like, hey, dude, but get out of the way. I'm gonna go get a beer.
But do you think the hype is deserved though?
I don't know. It's hard for me to judge, because isn't it like $220 or something?
More than that. 280, I thought.
Oh man, I don't know. If you're gonna buy like a used one for a jacked up price, no. But it's a good sounding pedal. I would say if you can buy one new and not for an overinflated price, totally cool. So I borrowed one from Steve from 60 Cycle Hum, because I know we've like bashed this pedal before. and we've actually playing it. It's a great.
Because we did play it like out of it just not ideal
out of a
circumstance.
Kemper or something. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So I did.
I would like to play that too, but I'm probably still gonna be like, I'll probably like it and still be like,
I think,
oh, well, this is stupid.
No, the hype is really the biggest thing that draws away from it.
Yeah.
I know I was messaging with Michael Newman about it. I'm like, actually, it does sound good. It's not like fizzy like a rat. So that's one thing with the rat. It can get like more distortion you get out of it turns fuzz.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah.
This kind of stays all the way from an overdrive to a distortion. It doesn't get fizzy and it stays chunky the whole time. Like, I don't know. I know I'm like using dumb words to describe distortion because I'm like, distortion can get into fuzz central, and that's something I don't like. And then this has a good, I don't know how to compare it, but I'm like, I do, if I'm going to go distortion route, I would totally pick a Riot or modded DS1 over that. But so I just want to say it's not a shitty pedal. I know we make fun of it a lot,
now,
but actually
write that on the board 30 times.
Actually giving it a real go on a couple amps. So,
yeah. Well, and I guess know how to make your shit sound good, but when you play it at
like with like a guitar that you don't know and like out of a a Kemper patch that you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You can totally just like, okay, let me judge the shit out of this thing.
No,
and the thing is,
we're still going off of like
talking
the hype.
shit is fun.
Yeah.
and
you can totally take it back.
And yeah, like we're doing now.
We just did.
We do that all the time. We can talk shit about something and then we just kind of backtrack and people are like, yeah, we never really took you that seriously in the first place.
Yeah,
which I like. I kind of like,
yeah, but you guys are kind of idiots.
So people are like, we've said it, like guitar hangers. I talk shit about it. They're great.
Yeah.
Just stupid asshole.
Loop pedals.
Yeah.
Loopers.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
MXR has one? Fuck.
Well, fuck. They're fucking sick then.
Man, they're great.
That's the shit. So anyways, these, like the DRVs actually is pretty cool. I couldn't tell you the price. If you told me what they cost and I would be like, not worth it. Honestly, anything, if it's $200, then I would say no. I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth that hype, but and now I'm back to talking shit about it.
Yeah, I think brand new they can be about $280. I see some like
fuck, really? That's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at some that are
on Reverb.
On Reverb,
I think those are people like trying to like flip them to get.
All right,
to a price.
I see one for $225. That's
nice.
The same style that you have, which is like the silver. That's not yours, but the one that you're borrowing. There's one. I hate to make this a reading Reverb post or podcast, but
reading
the one reading Reverb.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do.
The one that's like the black with the blue and pink, like the 80s looking. 1981, but like super 80s looking one is like it's $280 for that.
Well, my favorite one,
and $300 for the seafoam.
Damn,
$300 for the pink.
Oh yeah, the pink one's probably the coolest.
$350 for the tricolor.
With the white with the red and
yeah,
that one's probably actually that one's probably my
it's
favorite.
Number 3 also.
That one's probably my favorite one.
Oh, we should get it.
No. Anyways, it's a cool pedal. So if you own one and we talk shit about it and you felt all pissed off, it's a cool pedal. I just wouldn't. I think the hype is just what leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to sound like everyone else. You know? I guess everyone's hyping on it.
Yeah, no, it's not a huge mainstream pedal anyways, but I think it's like in certain circles that we can see in the gear groups, people, really all about it. And I would be like, it's fine. Okay, so that was kind of it for what's news. But I guess this is, shit. Well, I guess this is also news. It's something worth mentioning. So Joseph from Like My Pedals, he posted this in the Facebook group, but I think it's worth mentioning on the cast if any of these are still around. So let's see. Let's see if I can just tear this down. So he had mentioned that he wanted to do a special offer for anyone who supports our show on Patreon, because he says, since the Tone Jerks always show your boy so much love, I want to offer a special to anyone who supports them on Patreon. Get one of the very first 5 prototypes of the Like My Pedals K2 drive for only $85 shipped. My normal price for these will be $175, and the sale price on my page is $125. If you want one, just contact him. if you're a Patreon, patron supporter of the show,
or be one.
Yeah. So, and you could totally join, and that's one thing that he said too. So if you're not one, you can join our Patreon and you can get that discount. So $85 for it's a Klon-ish pedal. It's his take on it, and it's in a standard like MXR sized pedal. So some of the other ones he's done have been the bigger size. So that's the smaller one. And this one has, let's see, it has, 2 foot switches. So it has a foot switch that is the fat bass boost mode, and then it has 3-way clipping. So it has the silicon, the normal Klon, and then LED clipping. And then also has a smooth, he added this as a smooth contour knob. So you can kind of adjust the way that the gain is, a little more smooth jazz. So, I mean, Kyle and I both own, his kind of Klon-ish pedals. They sound great. Super, yeah.
The K2 reference is a mountain, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's the graphic on there.
That's the graphic.
So he's got 5 of them as of today, because he just posted that today. So if any of them are still around by next week, hit him up. And if not, maybe he can work something out, if they're already all sold. But
so
I think
it's the second highest mountain. Hold on, second highest mountain, so it's the second dopest drive.
Yeah.
Next to the ones that I make.
Yeah,
so,
next to the Kyle's
shitty modded.
No. Send Kyle a pedal, he'll break it, and then that's the sickest one, man. It's a cool story behind that one. So that's Joseph.
Flow up.
Joseph from Like My Pedals. He's been a big supporter of the show for a while, so I think that's really cool. I'm actually using one of his pens right now. So Like My Pedals, he's like literally the show would not go on if I couldn't write my notes if he wasn't around. So thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So do you want to get into a topic or two or what?
Yeah, we could.
Bitch,
I got some time, so I gotta catch a train.
All right. So this first one comes, I guess a couple months ago. We did a call out for topics and we never actually touched on this one. So this is from Colin Smith. I was like, let me save this and we can actually use it for an episode. So he asks, thoughts on gain stacking and clean blends, especially on bass and with EQ splits like a bass Big Muff Deluxe, and the difference between running heavy dirt into light dirt and the other way around. So I think, there's a lot to unpack on that one.
Yeah. Well, I know with my bass, and I've talked about it before, I think I have, let's see, of the 4 pedals I have that I use for... your mainstay on that. Two of them they have dirt.
Yeah.
And plus I have the amp, I get cranked on gain.
Yeah, so
I have quite a bit going on.
You've recently started rolling back the gain. Yeah. You were at at least almost 3 o'clock on the gain knob on your bass amp.
Yeah, so I've been letting the pedals do some more of the work.
Yeah, because you have too much gain. You found it just at higher volumes, it just feedbacks. Yeah, and, having your bass feedback is what the fuck?
I know. It's like a high pitched squeal. You're yeah.
What the fuck?
I should probably actually have looked at my pedals, but I have the Sans amp. I guess I have the Westwood before the Sans amp, and I don't really have a whole lot of gain on that.
Yeah, that's definitely more of an EQ. It has a little bit of dirt.
Yeah, I add, I think
actually, yeah, you're adding, just
at 12 at least on it.
Yeah, so you're actually adding a good amount of dirt, but not volume. So you're with your pedal, you're not adding sometimes with drive pedals you can add more volume to push and clip the amp or clip the next pedal. You're kind of not.
I think with the amps I have, you'd really have to push really hard.
Yeah.
With the volume is not really going to do a whole lot, I think.
Yeah. But
so you got to add the dirt.
Yeah, and you have the option to add dirt with your compressor. So with the Serpents, but you really don't have any on there.
Yeah.
That one's pretty clean. But
so can I get dirt from that tuner pedal too?
Yeah.
If it's fucking up, yeah.
If it's fucking up. Really, I guess on Sans amp, the blend is kind of really just noonish. It's one. So you kind of want still some clean. So like, okay, so for bass, you don't want it to be like completely saturated.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be super like metal sounding, and I don't want to be like only like jazz or like only like Motown,
Like bubbly, kind of like super clean.
But I still, I don't know. I really don't like a whole lot of bass on my bass.
Yeah, I think I've been more pushing you to add, like, get out of the trebles and mids of your sound, which is, it sounds great, but I'm like, Kyle, you have to be the low end because
well, it's still there.
I know, but you have to you're adding more of it to where you're not actually hearing it, you're more feeling it, and that to me, I'm like, that's a bigger part of like filling out the sound of the band. And so, anyway, like, I think
I'm playing lead bass too, bro.
I think thinking about like the frequencies that we're filling out, having a clean blend on something is super important on bass, at least. I find it not important at all for guitar, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, because you just want it all saturated. You don't want any clean cutting through.
Kind of. That's how like tube screamers are. Like, because if you play, like, I think that's why a lot of people don't like tube screamers.
You can hear two.
Yeah, you can hear two signals. Mm-hmm. You can hear some of the saturated and some of the clean. And when people say like, "Oh, I hate tube screamers," like, because you're not using it right. And there's not a right way to use a pedal. To me, I like using a tube screamer in front of an already distorted amp, so you're not going to hear a clean signal anyway.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody who's like got a squeaky clean amp, they're like, man, tube screamers sound like shit. Yes, you're not. Yeah, okay. It's not like it's not a complete like, distortion pedal. So you're not going to have this sound like, a riot or a rat or something like that.
Yeah.
It's has a clean blend to it, and that's why some people like to use it in front of a pushed amp. So not even just like a heavy distorted amp like a Rockaverb or a Mesa Boogie dual rec or something like that.
Yeah. People
push it in front of like, oh, I have my Fender Tweedish amp kind of on the edge of breakup, and putting the tube screamer in front of it adds for solos and stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as like, I don't know, stacking pedals.
Well, like I have them all on.
Yeah.
I guess, but for the front of house coming off of, I usually skip I have what do they call it? The parallel out.
Yeah. With the Sans amp. Yeah. You kind of have the parallel out going to your head. So the dry.
It skips it's the dry, but it still is getting some of that,
Westwood.
The Westwood. Yeah.
Yeah. And then front of house is getting like, you kind of sometimes treating your Sans amp like your amp head that's going to front of house.
Yeah.
But what about
Even though it's Sans amp?
Yeah. What about when you play guitar? Like you're like experimenting more with like drive pedals and stuff like that. Do you have like a practice that you're doing, and do you have like something, or you're kind of still just like,
I still have
plug it in and let's see what happens.
Yeah, like Glade, man. Plug it in. Plug it in. Gotcha. All right, so I usually have the 80-30. Let's see the gain on the amp. I have it set around like 10 o'clock.
Okay, so it's kind of gritty.
Yeah, it is. It's not clean at all.
Yeah.
This amp doesn't really get clean. It'll get close, but it's always going to have that.
Yeah, the 80 series are always kind of like on the edge of clean. I know I heard people say, oh man, they're so sparkly and chimey. I'm like, are you sure?
Are they though?
Are you sure?
For me.
Yeah, I've always heard people say that. It's like, oh, you have an orange like 80-30. They're so chimey and clean. I'm like,
do you listen only to like Swedish metal?
And but also too, I'm like, am I just not using these amps correctly? I have 3 different ones, and none of them are like that. I'm like, no, they're wrong.
You're wrong. Yeah,
they are. Everyone else is wrong. I've only talked to like 2 or 3 other people, and they're like, yeah, man, they're super great cleans. I'm like, no, they suck clean. But the thing, like, to me, I guess maybe when I think of cleans, I'm thinking of like super like jazz, I don't know, like jazz chorusy cleans, like fake kind of clean
like
cleans,
country western,
yeah,
like Telecaster,
yeah. But I'm like, I don't know. But anyways, the 80-30 is a good platform for pedals, and you kind of keep it on the
I do adjust a little bit, but usually I go back to that 10 o'clock and then volume low because I'm
at home.
Yeah,
30 watt,
have it at 1, or
like you're gonna blow some smoke.
Be bleeding in my own ears because I'm standing right in front of it. But I usually have at least recently, I've been running that sugar drive. That's kind of been my like go-to recently. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Like that amp a lot, actually, or that pedal.
Well, that combination is pretty good. So it's a Klon-ish type pedal.
Yeah, but I guess I haven't, in the last couple weeks, I haven't really stacked any other dirt in there. I was doing the overrated special also.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Playing those together, I didn't really like them. I know you don't really like that pedal already.
It's very bassy.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm like, I'm not the player for that thing.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking, I'm like, oh, it's for somebody who's doing like I don't want to default and just say like, oh, that's somebody who's playing a Strat, because it's like John Mayer and Steve Ray Vaughan would play Dumbles and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what comes to mind. I'm like somebody who's playing like single coils and like more articulate kind of notes, and like they want more of like
the bass, I guess.
kind of like they want more of a richer sounding like drive, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I kind of want mid city. I was like with a like little bit of bass, and like I kind of want some high end to like sparkle a little or to cut through a little bit when I do chords. But I'm like, it's really like mids, low mids, some lows, and some. That's it.
I should stack all my clones. I have a bunch of clones.
There is a difference between the different takes that you and I have.
Yeah.
I
have the idiot box, and I have this sugar drive.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it. I guess I really haven't really compared the idiot box like the Han Ton with some of the other ones, but
yeah,
the
Special K, Philadelphia Avengers.
Yeah, so the Special K from Like My Pedals with Sugar Drive. I think the Sugar Drive has the least volume on tap.
Yeah,
and it's the most saturated as far as the gain goes.
Yeah.
But it's not as articulate as like the Tumnus or the Special K. Special K.
When you stack them all, or do a shootout or something.
I guess, yeah, if you're going to do stacking, you like just fucking plug them all up and let it rip.
Dang.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's cool. I guess.
Well, what about you? I know that you were more into, your Axe effects, but like, what are you stacking into that? Like, what are you stacking in the?
For the longest time, I was doing the opposite, where I was having a lighter drive at the end, or like say if I have a lighter drive and a heavier drive,
yeah,
I was doing like a lighter drive after a heavier one. So I was doing my full drive 2 for the longest time. I was doing full drive 2, like my JHS modded one, which they just kind of have that the mini bomb boost in there. And then I was had a lot of volume and a good amount of gain on tap with that, and I was running into that into the Sweet Honey overdrive, which was kind of an always on pedal, and I treated that like that was the preamp, like that was the amp, not like a preamp pedal, because you put the preamp like before a lot of things. Like I was treating that like that was like the amp's preamp.
So it's like the last.
Kind of like
dirt in the line before you got to some of your effects.
Yeah, because I was treating that like, okay, I can throw that in front of like the most sterile amp that I could, because sometimes we were at practice studios, we were like playing like shows. I didn't know what amp I was gonna bring.
Yeah,
and there was times where I was like, whatever was available, I was either doing an AC30 or a twin reverb.
Yeah,
and those are not similar, but they are similar in size, kind of, because they're both 2x12s. But the way that the amp is structured, so I kind of just had them both kind of cleanish.
Yeah, amps. You let the pedals do all the work,
and that's exactly what I was doing. And for the longest time, I loved it. And until like I started like reading into like pedals, and until I saw somewhere it's like it should be light drive into heavier drive, and I was like, my whole world was like, oh,
fucked up.
And then so I tried it the other way, and I like both. There's no wrong way.
Yeah.
Because I treated the Sweet Honey overdrive like that was the amp, like how you treat your Sans amp.
Yeah.
Like you run pedals into that, like that is your EQ and stuff like that. And I kind of treated like the controls like, oh, a little bit of gain here. And then I'm running a heavier drive, which was the full drive. I ran that with a lot of gain. Like it's a Tube Screamer-ish pedal. You can get some flat mids on it. I did like that pedal a lot. Whatever, it's gone. I sold it. It's gone. I have plenty of Tube Screamer.
God.
It was a great pedal. That combination was so good. And with the mini bomb boost that they did into it, it was like, that was a good, like, good mix of like getting, enough boost, getting enough drive. And yeah, I totally like it. But now I do the opposite where I have a heavier gain. So like think of a distortion pedal. And then I have either like I'm doing less tube screamers nowadays with pedal stack. If I do pedal stacking, where I get most of my drive from pedals, I don't use tube screamers. But when I use an amp's gain I love using a tube screamer.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm like, the character that I get out of a tube screamer, I don't like with pedal stacking for some reason. Anyway.
So it's like you like it by itself or nothing?
Yeah, I like it with an amp.
Okay.
Or just not at all. But
either with an amp or in the trash.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of all I got for that. You got anything else?
No, I don't really stack too much, I guess.
You got more. And the thing is, I got more to work on too, because I don't stack fuzz pedals. I gotta get more into that world. I know we always like, that's the bit. It's like, we don't like fuzz pedals, huh, guys? I'm like, I gotta try it more, because maybe I
like fuzzes. Your voice.
It's like Bob. Like, who says this?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't like fuzz pedals. Goodbye.
Is that like a Ray Romano?
Yeah. Hey,
you better get this fuzz pedal, because I can get anybody to play this fuzz pedal.
I can. You better play really hard. Better play really good.
Don't play soft on this.
Hey, it's my brother. I get anyone to play my brother.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this one is kind of maybe a little bit of Brian Files. I got some ranting to do, and then I have like a little bit of a question and a topic for us. You ready?
Do it.
All right, let me set the scene here. All right.
Do you want me to close my eyes?
Yeah. Close your eyes and think about this. Okay, so I was watching the Bad Religion rig rundown, like on Premier Guitar.
Poor thing.
I love watching those videos. I don't really even care who the artist is, even if I don't know them. I love watching them talk about rigs and stuff.
You don't know who Bad Religion is?
I do know who they are. I've seen them a couple times, and like I think we've said, they're kind of an overrated punk band.
Yeah,
totally. But they're punk legends. But it's just not. There's like a song. I like that.
It's like your dad punk band.
Not even like I
grandpa's punk band.
Yeah, but yeah, my dad likes the Clash. I'm totally about that. But like Bad Religion, I was like, okay, I've seen them a couple times, and I'm just like, I'm good. Anyway, so their rig rundown was interesting. It was cool, kind of having them go through their gear, and their whole thing is like both guitar players were about like 50s like style Gibsons.
Yeah.
Like 50s juniors, and like P90 50, like 58s, 59. It's like cool. It's like that's fucking badass, and it's like going directly into two Marshall stacks. That's rock and roll, right? And their whole thing is they kept saying just Gibsons with P90s, adjust the volume going into these Marshalls. That's rock and roll. That's it. So no pedal switching? Nope, no effects. It's just the amp, just the guitar, just fingers, rock and roll.
It's all the fingers, bro.
And the guy kept asking him, like, there's a lot of parts in your songs that have like effects and delays and stuff like that. You guys don't do any of that? He's like, nope. It's just the guitar, cable into the amp. That's what we do. It's like we keep it rock and roll, man. I've been playing for a long time. I never learned any of this stuff, man. I'm just a punk rocker. They kept saying it so many times. And then
all the cliche shit.
Yeah, and it was like, okay. And then, just your fingers and attitude. That's punk rock.
God damn it.
That type of thing. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I like that. I do. I like that attitude. I really like sometimes. Do you ever just plug your guitar into an amp and you're kind of like, yep, I have guitars I like, and I have amps I like, and I kind of like to just plug in and just go, and it's fun. It's just right. And even just playing a guitar unplugged, I'm like, man, this is what it is, But then they kept on. They took that ball and ran with it the whole thing for most of the parts, until one of the guys pointed out, I'm like, oh, you guys have Kempers. So what are those? Yeah, no, that the guitars go into that, and then that goes into the front of house and for stage monitoring. So we always bring these around. What the? And it's like, So like, what does he do? And like, no, front of house gets the Kempers, and then we get the Marshalls.
Wait,
and then
so
hold on, and he's like, yeah, they also like, oh yeah, no, our sound guy, he does all the changes in the effects and stuff like that, and like when there's like he does all that stuff.
So
what? They are hidden. The Kemper racks are hidden behind the Marshall stacks. 2 stacks per band or per guitarist.
So that stack. I don't know if I don't want to ruin your. Keep going.
Well, no, okay. So, it's still going, but it's just not being mic'd.
Oh,
so they're getting everything. They're like the signals.
That's just their stage volume.
Yeah, they're not.
That is.
And so they kept saying that the whole time. And towards the end, it's like, yeah, sometimes we'll mic it, but it's really just going through the Kemper. He'll sometimes blend the mics with the Kempers out front. But today it's a smaller venue, so we're just going Kempers. What the fuck? So you guys are like, you kept hammering that on home. And it's like, so you guys are using effects, you guys are using delays, you guys are using stuff out of your Kempers. But your MIDI switching and your fucking stagehand is switching for you. So you're not going guitar into amp. Yes, you are. You're hearing it, but the stage and the whole crowd is hearing Kempers.
That's the least punk rock thing, actually.
And that's totally fine to use Kempers and Axe effects and stuff like that. That's probably a smarter way to go, but it's also dumb to bring half stacks.
Yeah.
You're bringing 4 half stacks.
Because that's what he thinks is punk rock, is the actual... The amp itself.
I mean,
actually.
like, okay, I thought that was the dumbest thing in the world. Like, I've seen like the memes where they have like plywood like full stacks, and then they have like modelers behind it.
Yeah.
Or you can have like the stages where like they don't have anything. There's a lot of dummy cabs. I know Green Day does dummy cabs. They do like 16, so they'd have like 8 on each side Marshalls, But he's actually still running
a couple of
ISO
those
cabs. Like he's running 2 412s for each guitar player.
Yeah.
So
you can have some stage volume.
Yeah, no, it's not even stage volume. It's like, I think he actually, yeah, you're right.
If you're close by,
he has
you
one
can do feedback and stuff.
He has one that's live, and then he's got 2 others that are in the back that are actually mic'd, closed mic'd, and like ISO cab kind of deal. Like Slipknot does that. A lot of bands do that. But just to have like the dummy cabs on stage, just so it looks like a bunch of Marshalls.
Yeah.
That's rock and roll. I get it. And then, Bad Religion. Oh, cool. 2 half stacks per guitarist. And you're like, sick. But it is stage volume, but they're actually only getting the feed from the Kempers.
Yeah.
Sometimes you blend in the mics. And they have like, oh, we like to have the option of having these. And he talked about like getting the Kempers on the road because it's like sometimes they would flew to different like places that they it would have been way too expensive and they weren't sure about what it was like, but they had enough to get XLRs out. I'm like, that makes total sense. You don't have to feel bad about that, because that's even like a big band like Bad Religion or whatever. I'm like, get a Helix. That's totally fine. You guys are kill it, because nobody's gonna be like, well, they didn't play that part correctly. I'm like, but in their minds, they are still thinking that they're old school, killing it by a Gibson into a Marshall. But you're not.
But you're only like the front row hears that.
Well, yeah, and and the guitarist, if they're comfortable doing that, that's totally fine. My whole thing is like what I was getting at. It's like you could see the guy interviewing them like, you're not doing guitar into. You're doing guitar into Kemper.
Yeah,
you're hearing Marshall, but nobody else is. If it makes you feel okay,
that's weird though. That their stage amps are unaffected. They have no effect.
Yeah.
Why?
Just because they want. I don't know. I don't know.
Because there's going to be parts where you don't want to hear the amp like a full on.
Yeah, you want to have delay.
Yeah, delay with that would be weird.
I have no idea. I'm
guessing they still are affected.
Well, some of the guys are on in-ears, and so I think that's what they're hearing. But they feel the Marshall unaffected.
Well, like if you have a tremolo running and you have your full amp, it's just gonna be like sound like shit.
Well, and it was just a thing that was, to me, I'm like, you guys are doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on this whole attitude of like, don't need effects, just my amp, just my this. This is what we do. If you can't afford a fucking 59 Les Paul.
And the guy's like, so what's that?
And he
that's a Kemper.
Yeah, we got 2 Kempers. We got to have these for the front of house. We always do front of house with other Kempers. I'm like, what? You fucking dipshit. And it was like, I'm not a huge fan of Bad Religion, but I understand like that they've been around for so long in the punk, but like, and they're, well respected and stuff like that. But I'm like, that whole attitude was like, oh God, man, that's really archaic. And also you're doing Kempers in front of like, huge stages and stuff like that. You're not a Marshall blaring kind of guy. You're not Angus Young doing the duck walk up there. You're like, you are playing Kempers, which is totally fine. Just like go full force into that world. And it reminded me of like maybe their sound crew and their guitar techs are like kind of treating them like you never have, I've never had children, but I understand, like I've seen the memes where it's like, okay, around New Year's when they want to stay up, past midnight and see the ball drop, you can go onto Netflix and other things on YouTube and you can watch like fake ball drops.
Yeah.
And you put it on the TV and they count down, but it's actually like,
whatever time you want.
8:30 or 9 o'clock.
You change all the clocks in the house.
Yeah. And then they can go to bed and it's like, woo, we stayed up. We burnt midnight oil. And the kids go to bed and they felt like, whatever. It's like, that's with them. Like, okay, you can have your JMPs and stuff like that. Get to cranking.
Yeah.
And then they take we're going to actually put this in front of house because we already know. And we have bring our digital board every night and we know how to plug you guys up. But if you guys have to play with these amps, have at it.
That's pretty funny.
Let me make sure you turn your wireless battery pack on there. We want to get your in-ears set up. We're ready to rock. Just fingers. That's all we do. Volume pedal. I don't even need that. I got my volume knob. We're rock royalty. No. They built it up the whole time. And it was like at the very end, it was the clinker of this setup.
Oh, that's a Kemper.
Yeah, we got all these. It's just rock and roll straight up.
You're going to cut that, right?
It's straight up. Yeah, no, the Kempers are right there. And he just said it nonchalantly. Yeah, no, front of house gets this. Yeah, sometimes we mic it up. I'm like, they probably put mics just to humor you.
Yeah, they're not even
because
on.
the front of house, if you can give them like a line, like a helix or something, they're gonna be like, thank you.
That's all we need.
Yeah, they're gonna be thank you so much. Like seriously, I'm like, you could take an HX stomp out there and rock people, and they're gonna be like, sick, thanks, dude. Oh, you have to have a half stack. Can you mind putting that?
Add it ear down.
Yeah,
Can you turn that away?
Yeah, turn it away from the stage. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with using Kempers, but I think they never. The thing is, they never like slagged that off. They're just like, Kempers. Well, it's all rock and roll with the amps, and no. They slagged off pedals. I guess that was maybe the point I was trying to make with this. They were talking about pedals. I don't do that. I never use these
individual
pedals.
components, but they're loaded into this stuff.
Yeah, when you digitally load them into this thing, that's totally fine. But I'm like, they were so against pedals. And even the bass player's like, no, dude, I have this 2U tuner. See, this is my pedal rig. Okay. He's using a orange, was it whatever that bass amp was that's not the OB 500. A Power Stroke?
I don't know. But that sounds like an awesome amp, though.
Yeah. It was an orange, and it was an 810 and stuff like that. But even the bass player was like, I don't use pedals. Because we're a punk band, dude. We don't use pedals. And I was like, it was they showed the bass player after they did the Kemper rundown. I'm like, you're right. Kemper's not a pedal.
It's not a pedal.
It's not a pedal.
It's more than that.
It's a lot more than that. That's your whole rig that you're plugging into. All right, I think we're going to get out of here. But before we go, I just want to say thank you for tuning into the show. And if you guys like what you hear, you guys can follow along on social media. We're on Instagram at The Tone Jerks, and we're on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. Like it if you want. But head over to the group and join it. There's a lot more cool shit going on over there. So the Facebook group is the place to be. And if you guys like what you hear, you guys can, leave a review on iTunes for us. Hopefully 5 stars. But if you guys
just tell us how you feel.
Let us have it. And yeah, don't use those 4-letter words like we do. But give us a rating. But if you guys write a review, we will read them on the air. We have a new one in. Kyle, you want to give this one to me?
All right. So this is titled BMK.
Who's it from?
Oh, was that Brian M. Kyle? What's the M stand for?
Kyle's.
Oh yeah, Brian Kyle.
The Kyle's.
All right, so it is BMK. It's 5 stars. It's from Clark Griswold.
Clark Griswold.
All right, so this is bang. This podcast, marry their entire library, and kill all other podcasts.
5 stars?
5 stars.
Oh, shit.
Man.
Oh, damn. Man, yeah, I don't know about kill all the other podcasts. But,
Maybe name them.
I don't know. I mean, God bless our enemies.
Not physically.
Man.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
God bless our enemies. Yeah, so. I mean,
thank you so much for that.
You post it, we will read it.
Yeah, that was a good one. We like the BMKs around here. That one I do like. So write a review and we will read it on the air. If iTunes posts it, we will read it. And then if you guys really like what you hear, you guys can help support the show for as little as $1 a month. And if you support the show, you can get that, offer from Like My Pedals. Hit him up, hit us up and hit him up. But
you have to show proof of purchase.
Yeah, proof of purchase.
I don't know how that's going to work.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you really wanted to be like, you could probably join the Patreon for $1 for 1 month and then get the pedal and then leave.
Or $69, whatever you want to do.
Oh, we do have the $69 thing. Yeah. But, $1. But for $2 a month, if you guys double down, you guys get an extra episode every week. We're not just like begging for money over here with like a little cup for the change there. We're giving you guys something. You get an extra episode every week, sometimes more. But just as, a thank you for supporting the show, we're going to give you guys a little shouty. Kyle, he's got a list of names.
List of shouties here.
List of shouties. Why don't you give me those shouties, baby?
All right, so
give it to me, baby.
Mixed up. I did a little reshuffle.
A little mixture.
Reshuffled the deck.
Yeah.
Reshuffled the decks.
A little 52 card pickup.
Yeah, that's how I shuffle. Do I suck at shuffling?
Yeah.
Fuck.
A little 30 name shuffle.
So I can't grab once I like press them together and bend the cards, they just shoot everywhere. No, I look like an idiot.
Look like a clown.
Oh, that's the bit, everyone. Making my exit.
Just give me a laugh. Just give me a laugh. Come on, everybody. Just give me a laugh.
All right. So we have Andrew Walsh, Adam Rohr from the Let 'Em Hear podcast, Doug King, Doug Gann, Doug Christ.
You brought them all back together.
I brought the boys back. They were getting rowdy.
We're getting the band back together.
They were on a brief hiatus. All right. And we have Abe Newman and Michael Newman. I had to put, if those guys were going to be able to get seated together.
Is it just because this is easier for you to write, or?
You know what, bro?
You know what? Fuck
the
face.
implication.
Fucking maybe throw this fucking mic at you.
Step up on this mic, you bitch. Aaron Taylor, Nicholas Ogburn, Bruce Banana, Colin Smith, Jason Fuzzmonger, and we have Joseph.
Joe. He goes by Joe. Now he's Joseph to me.
Yeah. So it's,
when you
scratch that, Brian. Just edit that out.
When you're here, you're Joseph.
Yeah. Joseph from Like My Pedals, Will Lehue, and R.J. Smith. So the trifecta.
The trifecta from Just
the boys are back in town.
The Just Surprise Me boys.
Yeah.
So check out Just Surprise Me podcast.
Is that boys with an IZ? It's like the boys.
Boys. Yeah, they're boys. They're whatever.
They're the boys.
Yep. Call them whatever you want.
Just not late for dinner.
Yeah, there you
go. Boom. Gotcha.
Gotcha, bitch.
Jamie Davis, Jimmy B, Jim Bowers. He gets a double read, I guess. He's got 2.
Did you write that down?
No, I didn't. I did not. I'm just someone who's like, oh, I want to be Jimmy B, but that's actually a dude.
Yeah.
He wears like a fedora. Johnny Ray, Nicholas Payson, Sean Fahey, Sean Arbo from Gun Street Wiring Shop, Kevin Equits from Equits Guitars, Steve Mike, Alvaro Viramontes, Co Schneider from the Flippin' Flippers podcast, Brett Alexander, Dicker from Fat Foot Effects, Brian from Nutter Guitars, Leon from Pelican Noiseworks, and we got a new one other than RJ. I guess RJ's new back. We have Clark Griswold.
I have Clark Griswold. He's leaving those fucking fire-ass reviews.
Fucking lit AF, bro.
Joining the Patreon.
All right, new to the TTJ family. It's good to have you.
How can we forget about family?
If I even say family, you just like, you switch gears.
You're part of the familia. You're the Tone Jerks familia.
It's like I wouldn't say it's a mob, but it's maybe a mafia. Because we're the Tone Jerks Mafia.
Yeah. You say mob, you get sued right away.
Yeah.
Blake's like, whoa. He busts in like the Kool-Aid man. What the fuck, bro?
Dude, Blake is ripped. He beat our asses at the same time.
Yeah, probably.
He's fucking swole.
He just punches both of us in the stomach. We fart and shit.
And then he takes our heads and knocks us together like in an 80s movie.
Or he just basically Uncle Phil's us out of the NAM.
Yeah.
He
grabs us
Anaheim Convention Center. We both like jazzy jab.
Grabs us by our underwear and like our scalp. Basically just tosses us out.
Oh fuck. Are we done yet?
I think we're getting too silly.